In this video, I'll walk you through the 8 steps to start an LLC in 2026. And to make sure we get the best advice, I hired a business lawyer, Doug Macbeth, to share his best tips for each step and the biggest mistakes beginners make.
The biggest mistake is not to.
By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to start your LLC in 2026. Let's get started. What is an LLC? First, let's quickly cover what an LLC is. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. It's a business structure that protects your personal assets. So your car, home, and savings stay safe if your business ever faces debt or a lawsuit.
LLCs are a relatively recent innovation in business law. They really started to become popular in the 80s because corporations are so rigid in the way that they're operated. And it was felt that there needed to be a form which allowed for more flexibility. So, that's what the LLCs provide, is they are maximally flexible. And literally, they can operate any way the owners want to set them up.
Now, let's go through the LLC formation process step by step. Step number 1, pick your state. When you're forming an LLC, the first decision is where to set it up. For most people, the answer is simple, your home state. It's usually the cheapest and easiest option.
I would suggest that you want to go shopping for a state. I would just do it where you're located. The problem is that if you elect to set up your LLC in a state that you're not resident or operating in, then you have to register it anyway, which costs the same amount of money as setting it up there. And unless there's a big tax difference.
Now, you'll hear a lot about Delaware. And it's true, nearly 2/3 of Fortune 500 companies are incorporated there.
A lot of people choose Delaware because it's got very low taxes and they have a judicial system that is highly expert in the law of corporations and LLCs.
But as Doug explained, Delaware advantages mainly matter for large corporations. For small business owners, the best state is the one you live and operate in. Step number 2, choose a name. The next step is naming your LLC. This is where a lot of people either overcomplicate things or forget the basics. Here are the do's for choosing a name. Start with something unique. Add LLC or Limited Liability Company at the end, then check your state's business database to confirm the name is available. And don't forget to see if the domain is free too. One more thing, it's smart to run a trademark search on uspto.gov. Even if your state says the name is available, a federal trademark could block you from using it. And if you want to use a different customer-facing name later, you can always file a DBA, or doing business as. Now, here's what you shouldn't do. Don't use restricted words like bank or FBI. Don't choose something too close to another business, and avoid names that are too long or confusing. And if you found the perfect name, but you're not ready to file yet, most states let you reserve it for a small fee. Step number 3, choose a registered agent. Every LLC needs a registered agent. That's the official contact who receives legal papers and notices from the state.
The point of a registered agent is to be able to have a physical presence in the state where you're setting up for legal papers to be served. That's really the function of a registered agent, is to receive writs or complaints or whatever legal process might be there.
Now, you've got 2 options. First option is to be your own agent. It's cheaper, but here's the trade-off.
The only downside to that, which I see often, is that this is public information. The name of the registered agent is public. And oftentimes there's a lot of junk mail sent to registered agents.
The other option is to hire a service. It costs, but it protects your privacy, filters the spam, and ensures there's always someone available when the state needs to reach you. So, do you want to save money, or do you want the peace of mind that comes with a professional service? Step number 4, file articles of organization. This is the step that officially brings your LLC to life. When you file your articles of organization with your Secretary of State, you're essentially saying this business now legally exists. The form is straightforward. You'll provide your LLC name and mailing address, your registered agent's name and address, whether your LLC will be member managed or manager managed, and finally, the organizer's signature. Now, what do member managed and manager managed mean? In a member managed LLC, the owners run the company's daily operations themselves. In a manager managed LLC, the members appoint someone else to handle operations.
Well, manager managed, the members just don't typically meet very often. They might receive reports of operations, but they're not hands-on, and they're not participating in day-to-day decisions about how to operate.
Some states may also ask for your business purpose, but in most cases, any lawful purpose is enough. Once you pay the state filing fee, which can range from about $50 to $500 depending on your state, the filing office will review your paperwork. When it's approved, you'll receive your certificate of organization. Step number 5, create an operating agreement. This is one of the most overlooked steps when forming an LLC, but it's also one of the most important.
The biggest mistake is not to adopt an operating agreement.
An operating agreement is your company's rulebook. It answers questions such as who owns what, how are profits split, how are decisions made, and what happens when a member leaves.
But every LLC is different, and they are designed as entities to be flexible. So the governance of an LLC can take any form you come up with. But you have to come up with one.
Creating your company's rulebook matters, especially for multi-member LLCs. But even for a single-member LLC, it's important.
So the most important thing is to get an operating agreement, which delineates corporate or the LLC's operations and defines it as a separate entity from you. And a lot of people will just ignore it because obviously they're making all the decisions. They don't have any shareholders to answer to.
As Doug explained, the operating agreement shows that your business is separate from you, which helps preserve your liability protection if you're ever taken to court. Even if your state doesn't legally require an operating agreement, you should still create one. And remember, you don't file this with the state. You just keep it with your company records, signed, and stored safely. Step number 6, get an EIN from the IRS. Now that your LLC is official, you will need an employer identification number, in short, EIN. Think of it as the social security number for your business. It's free and you can get it in minutes on the IRS website.
As soon as you have filed in a state, you can go online and the IRS will give you an employer ID number. You need to have that in order to open a bank account, which is the next step.
You'll also need an EIN to file taxes and to run payroll if you hire employees. Step number 7, open a business bank account. Opening a separate business bank account is about protecting your liability shield. The whole point of setting up an LLC. If you mix your personal and business money, you risk piercing the corporate veil, meaning a court could decide your LLC isn't truly separate from you, and your personal assets could be on the line.
Sometimes in lawsuits, people will try and do what's called piercing the veil and get to your personal assets for a corporate debt. And so to the extent that you allow yourself to be exposed and don't maintain this separation between the company and yourself, you encourage that sort of attempt to get your personal stuff.
So, how do you protect your personal assets? 2 simple things. Always use a separate business bank account and have a signed operating agreements on file. When you go to open your account, banks will usually ask for 3 documents: your certificate of organization, your operating agreements, and your EIN. Step number 8, stay compliant. Forming your LLC isn't the finish line. It's just the beginning. To keep your limited liability protection, you have to stay compliant. Here are 4 things to stay on top of. Number 1, annual report. Most states require an annual or biannual report. It's a simple form confirming your LLC's information, but miss it and you risk late fees or even losing your LLC. The report fee varies from as little as $15 to a few $100s, depending on your state. Number 2, registered agents. Make sure your registered agent is always active and up to date. Number 3, licenses and permits. Check what's required for your industry and location. Most businesses need at least a general business license, and depending on what you sell, you may also need a sales tax permit. On top of that, industries like food, healthcare, or real estate often require extra state or federal licenses. Skipping these can lead to fines or shutdowns. Number 4, taxes. Your taxes depend on whether you have one owner or more than one owner. If you're the only owner, the IRS doesn't treat your LLC as a separate business for taxes. The money just goes on your personal tax return.
If you're a sole member LLC, there are no taxes to be paid. It's the income for the LLC is reported on your personal return on a Schedule C, just like self-employment.
If there is more than one owner, the company is considered a separate entity for tax purposes, with additional filing requirements.
As soon as you become a multi-member LLC, then you actually become an entity, fully separate as far as the IRS is concerned. And that means that you're going to have to withhold payroll taxes and set up, assuming that you're taking a salary. You may not be, you might just take dividends, but there will be formalities around the LLC's tax operation as soon as it becomes more than one member. And that's when you need to speak to an accountant and get somebody lined up to set you up, and then also to probably handle your tax returns.
Later, if your business gets bigger, you can choose a different tax setup. Some LLC owners elect S-Corp status to save on self-employment taxes. Now you have the full roadmap to start your LLC. But if you don't want to do the paperwork yourself, Zen Business can do it for you. They will form your LLC starting at $0 plus state fees with a 100% accuracy guarantee. And if you need registered agents, it's just $99 for the first year. Check the link in the description to get started right away. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.